Hi friends, John Nesbitt here, and I have a message for you which I hope you'll find useful and enlightening, and at least something that you can improve your day and your situation around you. I've noticed over the last days, weeks, months, but really in the last few days, the amount of upset that people have going on outside their practice. With like our clients, I'm running into clients who are personally so upset about things going on outside their practice that they can barely operate inside their practice. Mostly this revolves around COVID and the vaccine. I mean, politics has always been something people get upset about, but they kind of can put that down and do their job. This is actually creeping its way into people's inner parts of their lives and into their productive parts of their lives. And it's actually coming to cause some problems, I think. And I want to just point out not only what I think is going on, but also a solution I have. I actually have a very simple solution that I hope you'll find useful. But first, the problem. So the news is coming out. Okay, recently they approved, the FDA approved the vaccine for use. So there's a whole bunch more mandates kind of come out. There's a lot more pressure on people. The chiropractic industry in particular has very strong opinions about vaccinations. There are people for and against. Everybody's sure they're right on both sides, and they resent the other side being so wrong. And these two sides are almost completely out of communication with each other. They literally do not communicate well with each other. As soon as a vaxxer starts talking to an anti-vaxxer, it turns into an argument and no one wins, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not because the two people are actually unreasonable. It's because they've been pushed into being unreasonable by the amount of upset that's coming down the line. If you look at the media, all they do is give you datum, counter datum, right? They give you, this is great, but it's not great, right? This is true, but it's not true. They give you these things so you can no longer think. And so people sort of just pick a point of view and say, okay, I'm going to think with that idea. And they pick one and they stick with it because they really can't think with it, but they stick with it anyway because they have to have some idea. And so they adopt things. And so they only start to accept data which agrees with their own ideas, right? So they get more and more polarized off to the side. Now this is for both sides. I'm not going to be picking a side in this video because I'm not stupid, right? I'm not going to tell you what my own personal view is and all this, but I'm going to just tell you that I'm noticing that it's getting to the point as a business person that I'm seeing. I literally saw this morning, one of our clients, they are too upset about this topic in order to do their job. They literally were rambling on and on about how, well, now because they don't get vaccinated, because they're not going to be vaccinated, that the kids can't go to school, or that if they die, they think their life insurance won't pay them off. So now what happens? And they have all these upset points, right? We literally have clients who are really, really upset, and it's to the point they can't do their work. Right? They're literally not helping patients. They're sitting around being upset, or they're shrinking their business in a little bit. They're walling themselves off from the outside because they just can't handle what's going on out there, right? That is unfortunate. Look, politics has always been one of these things that divides people. People get upset about, march in the street about, and something from time to time. But this is really getting to a high crescendo where it's starting to make its way inside the practice. And I want to have you just kind of do a little self-inventory, a little self-check and say, okay, are you consuming too much news that is contrary right, to itself? It used to be just watching too much news was kind of a problem. I always say, hey, don't watch the news. Don't watch a little bit so you know what's going on, but don't watch too much. Don't dwell. Don't be on your phone hours a day keeping up with the latest micro scandal, right? It doesn't ever pay off. That never works out well for someone. You just get more and more upset and more distracted, right? But nowadays, even that little bit of news you're getting, it's conflicting with itself, as I mentioned, so you can't think with it. So you go, oh, what's going on? And you have to kind of pick a side, and that whole process that I just mentioned happens, right? We start getting more and more polarized, and you fall out of communication with half the society, right? Okay, so stop doing overconsumption of news is really a good way to go about it. If you've got a situation where it's coming up in your office all the time, if it's becoming a barrier to production, you need to back that down. You need to be the boss of your area and realize that your practice has nothing to do with that. Your practice has to do with making people healthy again, right? You treat sciatica, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, inflammation, right? You're not a vaccine station, right? You're not. I mean, I know it has to do with people's health and you care a lot, but both ways, you are pretty much your best to just sort of keep on, basically, as they say, stay in your lane. And the best way I know to express this is to go back and remember, what is your basic purpose as a practitioner? What are you trying to accomplish there? You're trying to get better outcomes for patients. So you want that lady who comes walking in who's got a hurt knee, you want to have her walk out on her own, right? That'd be great. You want that person who's got neuropathy and they got all these terrible things coming in their future, and you can take them off that course and put into a better future, right? Okay. while it has to do with it, stay in your lanes, keep that purpose, at least in your office. Okay. I'm not telling anybody to be quiet on social media and to not express your views and make your opinions known. But I'm just telling you, inside your office, stay in your lane. Don't permit discussions about it. Like in my office, we have a rule. We said we leave. The policy I have written was called leave the ugly world outside. Right. So don't talk about that politician or that policy or this terrible plane crash or whatever. Leave that outside. We don't discuss that here during business hours. We talk about what we're talking about. This is a safe, quiet space. So it's not upsetting, not turbulent. We don't have the news on here. Right. You're not allowed to go to news websites and things. You just basically do what you're doing inside the office, helping people, and make that your focus for the day. Now, when you leave, you go back out in the ugly world, and that sucks. But at least while people are at your office, at work, when the patients come in, there's none of that going on. They ask, you might just take them off to the side and talk to them quietly about it, but don't make it a big discussion because you're just going to get people's hackles up, right? So anyway, my idea is just stay on your purpose. Remember what your purpose is. Remind that of yourself every morning when you get up, and try to stay in that lane despite the noise and tumult that's going on outside your practice. There's no keeping it out 100%, but you are the boss and you're the one who creates that environment. If you're letting it in, if you're bringing it in, you're destroying your own practice and your own staff's ability to operate, and then you're upsetting half the people who you could help, right? So whatever side you're on, you're pissing off half the people, right? So don't do that. Just be neutral, be Switzerland inside your office. Right? Say, this is what we're doing. If it doesn't have to do with handling your sciatica, don't ask me about it. Right? People are going to ask you because of your position, and you can give them quietly your opinion or something, but don't make it, we stand for this. And I'm going to tell you this, we've noticed that it's the practices that manage to do that are thriving and doing just fine. And the ones where the doctor, especially the senior executives, the doctor, the office manager, are really into the politics and really into all that stuff back and forth, they're having trouble because their eye's coming off the ball. And when your eye comes off the ball, you stop helping people. And then when you see your own numbers are down and you see, oh my God, then you can start getting yourself overwhelmed. I don't want you overwhelmed. Okay. So look, if you're having a lot of trouble with this and you think I'm totally wrong, send me an email, John@thecustomerfactory.com. John@thecustomerfactory.com is my email address. Email me if you think I'm full of crap or whatever. But I'm just telling you, my best advice to you is remember your purpose. Remember who you're there to help. Remember how you're there to help them. That's what we do here. Create a calm space inside your four walls, right? Keep it outside as best you can. And the right things will happen. I'm gonna say you can be a warrior outside, but remember, inside your office, you have a certain purpose and a duty to your public. And it doesn't matter that, and this anti-vax thing is not part of that to a large degree. Okay. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't face all the hard questions you get. So perhaps I'm just out to lunch and we're living in a Pollyannish, airy-fairy world. But that's my best advice to you. Okay? Take care.